Well, here we are, Dwarf Fortress Adventure Mode. Meet Gostrim, Severemanors, the Spreadfold, the Swordmaster. He's been having lots of adventures all throughout the world. He's got a team of badass dwarves. Some of them died. Don't worry about that. He's got a donkey named Donkums. But most of all, he's got a burning need to tell stories. So we take a look at his skills here. I gave him Armok's Blessing for his physical skills. But his social skills, I'm going to level up naturally. And for your speaking skill, which is your storyteller skill, you only get 10 XP per story. It's 900, so you gotta tell 90 stories to get from level 4 to level 5. So I've been keeping a list of all the cool adventures that Gostrim has been on. And every time I get to a new tavern where a bunch of dwarves don't know who he is, I start telling them the story of who Gostrim is. So you know what? You guys get to hear the story too this time. So to start off with, we will tell a story about a site. That's most of how I figure out what story to tell. And we'll start with Thirstavus. Oh, I gotta hit enter. The killing of the Cyclops Sog, silvery bristled. The early spring of 100. Struck down by Gostrim Severemanors. Let's tell it. It was the early spring of 100. Gostrim had just started his adventuring career. He needed an impressive kill. The nearest impressive thing to kill was a Cyclops. So he went to its lair, ran up to it, and chopped its head off in one hit using Honored Shames, the Sadness of Subtlety, the artifact steel short sword. Gostrim had started his adventuring career in the same town as Honored Shames, the Sadness of Subtlety, the artifact steel short sword, which was in the possession of a human. Gostrim convinced the human to come with him on adventures and relieved him of 3 artifacts, including Honored Shames, the Sadness of Subtlety. Even brought the human on him with some adventures, but he wasn't working out, so we brought him back where he came from and left him to resume his old life, sans artifacts. But that was how we killed the Cyclops in the early spring of 100. Yeah, we gotta tell something like 20 stories. There we go. Killed the Cyclops, Sog, silvery bristles, the seasons of flight. With Honored Shames, the Sadness of Subtlety. So, just paging down. Oh, how did that do? It would be blue text. You're telling this tale quite well. Quite well. Vivid detail. Alright, yeah, sweet. Alright, let's see what the jury thinks. No, I'm not interested. Oh, come on. It's interesting. Sweet. No, I'm not interested. Oh, tough audience. This guy thinks it's interesting, no? Let's advance time while they all rumor each other. Not interested? You guys just don't care. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. It is just a Cyclops. You know. So let's keep going. What else we got? Next up is the Harvesters. We got 2 different Harvesters. The Impervious Harvester. In the early spring of 100, the Minotaur Nagalik Certain Webs was struck down by Gostrim. Let's tell it. Yeah, we found a labyrinth. I don't think we even had a quest. We just happened to find it. And we went inside. The thing about a labyrinth is, the Minotaur knows the turns better than you do. You can hear it coming the whole time, breathing heavy, slapping its human feet. But eventually it showed itself, and Gostrim ran up and chopped its head off in one swipe, using Honored Shames, the Sadness of Subtlety. And that's how we killed the Minotaur Nagalik in the early spring of the year 100. I don't think we even had the full party together yet. You're telling the tale quite well. Quite well, quite well. Vivid detail. Vivid detail. Quite well. Quite well. Yeah. Gostrim, he's alright at telling stories. He's level 4. Working on level 5. See what the audience thinks. It's interesting. It's interesting. No, I'm not interested. Well, screw you too. It's interesting. It's interesting. No, I'm not interested. Tough crowd. Tough crowd. I mean, it is just a Minotaur. I get it. I get it. No, I'm not interested. You thought it was interesting. Alright, next up, the other harvester. Scintillating harvester. We killed a Cyclops, a Thae. But Gostrim did not. It was the dwarf Kosoth that did. Let's tell it. In the early spring of 100, we were wandering the western continent. Don't think we even had the whole party together yet. When we just happened to find a place that had another Cyclops. This would be our second Cyclops. So we ran inside, found the Cyclops. And Gostrim tried to chop its head off in one hit with Honored Shames, the Sadness of Subtlety, like he usually does. But this Cyclops was too tough. And the other dwarves got in there and got their licks in. So it ended up getting killed by Minkat, whoever it was. Kosoth killed it, yeah. In the early spring of the year 100. Kosoth was later beaten to death by a pair of llama wool pants. But that's a story for another time. Actually, I don't tell that story. It's not in the rotation, so you're not gonna hear it. Yes, killed the Cyclops of the Kosoth, channel rinsed. With skirt for the praises of simplicity. I guess I gave him an artifact weapon to do it with. That's good. I tell the tale quite well. Vivid detail. Quite well. Quite well. Vivid detail. Yeah, see, level 4, it's paying off. No stumbling over the details for Gostrim. See what the audience thinks. It's interesting. No, I'm not interested. Well, shut up, Unib. I know what you think. It's interesting. It's interesting. No, I'm not interested. You guys were there. You've heard this story a million times. Let somebody else talk. It's interesting. It's very interesting. Hey, short head milker. I was really into that one. Zaz, I don't care what you have to say. It's interesting. Cool. Alright, next up. Tell the story about a site. And that site is Moth Leaps. Where we killed a jungle titan in the mid-spring of 100. Wow. Let's tell it. Yes, in the mid-spring of 100, we came across a shrine that had a jungle titan in it. Fearing for the safety of the surrounding countryside and all dwarves everywhere, we left Donkums and the horse behind. In fact, I don't think we even had the horse yet. We ran inside, and Gostrim ran right up to the jungle titan and chopped his head off in one hit using Honored Shames, the Sadness of Subtlety. Notch another one up for Gostrim. Let's see how I did. Telling the tale quite well. Quite well. Vivid detail. Vivid detail. Vivid detail. Yeah, doing a good job. Let's see what the audience thinks. Not interested. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, you know, this one was a titan. It was no Minotaur or Cyclops or something. You know, it's a real beast. It's interesting. No, I'm not interested. Most of them are interested, at least. Alright, next up, tell a story about a site of renown knighted. Where we killed a giant in the mid-spring of 100. The giant Subil Hailgleam the Tenacious. Struck down by Gostrim. Alright, let's tell it. In the mid-spring of 100, Gostrim was wandering the world. We'd almost gotten the party together at that point, I believe, when he came across a Cyclops lair. Or maybe he got a quest from a fortress guard. You know, they always want you to kill Cyclopses. In fact, the fortress guard here probably wants us to kill a Cyclops, for all I know. But either way, we found a Cyclops. Found its lair, went inside. Gostrim ran up to it. He chopped its head off in one hit with honored shames, the sadness of subtlety, the artifact steel sword. And yeah, pretty much went the way of most other Cyclopses that we meet. Notch another one up for Gostrim. Let's see, he's telling the story in vivid detail. Quite well. A mesmerizing tale. Nice. Quite well. Vivid detail. See, I've told these stories so many times, I think he actually gets better at the specific story. There's a skill level per story. That would be nuts. It's interesting. It's interesting. No, I'm not interested. No, I'm not interested. You guys were there. Of course you're not. Alright, tell a story about a site. Next up is Teeth Holes. Yes, Teeth Holes was a cave. The mortal wounding of the Hydra. Athnir Belch searches. Ed bolted crab. Oh, Ed. Poor Ed. Well, in the mid-spring of 100, Gostrim was wandering the wilds and found the lair of a Hydra. Now, Hydra presented a particular difficulty for Gostrim, because his usual strategy of running up and chopping its head off in one hit could not work against a Hydra who had many heads. So he brought the whole party in there, and they all just went to town on this Hydra, just hacking away, chopping it, hacking it, smashing it with their maces and hammers. Gostrim went to work on the heads, tried to chop off every single head, but before he did, the Hydra bled to death from a wound that Id Bolted Crab had given it with Lark Howl, the artifact copper axe. So, not a kill for Gostrim this time, kill for Id Bolted Crab, technically, because the wound that it bled to death of was one that he gave it, I guess. More to come on Lark Howl, the artifact. You tell the story in vivid detail. Nice. Telling the tale quite well. Vivid detail. Quite well. Very good. See what the audience thinks. Kill the Hydra, guys. Ah, yes, it's interesting. No, I'm not interested. No, I'm interested. It's interesting. Most people don't care. Come on, guys. It's a Hydra. Hydras are cool. Alright, well, next up, Glumacode. Tell a story about a site. Glumacode. The dragon, yes. Killing of the dragon, branded furnace, the warm fires. I tell people about this one all the time. It's my go-to make me a fortress guard story. So let's tell it. In the mid-spring of 100, Gostrim was wandering the wilds when he came across a dragon cave. Inside, there was a fearsome dragon. Actually, it wasn't even a dragon cave. The dragon just wandering around on the surface. This one. So he ran up to it and could not chop its head off in one hit. It breathed fire at him, set all the underbrush nearby on fire. But then everyone else got there and also piled in, and we chopped the hell out of this dragon. But Gostrim was the one to get the last hit in, with honored shames, the sadness of subtlety. And therefore, this was his first dragon kill, branded furnace, the warm fires. And I tell that story in dialogue because it's just easy to remember the name branded furnace for a dragon. You tell the story in vivid detail. Vivid detail. Quite well. Vivid detail. Quite well. Quite well. Yes. Let's see what the audience thinks about this one. It's very interesting. Yeah, right? It's a dragon. It's interesting. I'm not interested. Well, Minkat, you were there. It's interesting. It's interesting. Everyone loves it. Everyone loves the dragon story. Zas, yeah, I know you were there. You've heard the story before. So all of my companions are killjoys here. Oh, that's not that interesting. Shut up. Oh no. Alright, next up we've got Wave Root. Tell a story about a site. Wave Root, the Ape of Glades. What do we do here? We killed a Hill Titan in the mid-spring of 100. Yes, Hill Titan. It was the mid-spring of 100. Gostrim was wandering the wilds. I believe he had the whole party with him at that point. We came across a Hill Titan lair. Fearing for the safety of all nearby inhabitants and dwarves everywhere, Gostrim decided to kill this Titan. So, him and his fearsome dwarves, the ones that didn't run away, looking at you, Zas, ran up to the Plains Titan, and Gostrim chopped its head off in one hit using Honored Shames, the Sadness of Subtlety, the artifact steel short sword. And thus, another Hill Titan bites the dust, yielding to Gostrim's signature move, chopping their head off in one hit. Let's see, I'm telling the story about Wave Root. Tell it in vivid detail. Vivid detail. Quite well. Does the audience think it's interesting? It's interesting. It's interesting. No, I'm not interested. Shut up, Unib. I know what you think. No, I'm not interested. It's interesting. Yeah, I thought so. It's interesting. It's very interesting. Yeah, the Milker, he loves that story. It was just a Titan. There was no dragon, but, you know, it was pretty cool. For a fight. What we got next? Cackle Knights. Tell a story about a site. Cackle Knights. Another dragon. Fassi. Killed the dragon, and it was actually Minkat. Sprayed Wheel, the embraced calm of spears. Minkat's standing right here, so we'll talk up Minkat. It was the mid-spring of 100. The party was all together, obviously, because Minkat was there. The party came across a dragon's lair during their travels. Didn't have a quest, just happened to find it. Deciding to take it upon themselves to rid the world of this monstrous beast, destroys, burns everything in its sight. They all charged into the cavern together. This time the dragon was actually in the cavern, so we had to go in and find it. Not in the caverns, but in the cave. We ran in, got to the dragon, everybody started wailing on it, nobody got burned to death, which was a miracle, because it was tight quarters, but they all blocked it with their shields. Everybody got their licks in, and Minkat was the last one to get a hit in on the dragon, cleaving its head into an unrecognizable mass with her steel short sword. Not even an artifact, just a regular old steel short sword. But that's how cool Minkat is. That's why I gave Minkat some cool stuff. She has a magic item. And healing potions, but everyone has healing potions. You're telling the tale quite well. Vivid detail. Vivid detail, yes, quite well. Quite well. Let's see what the audience thinks. No, I'm not interested. You guys always say that. It's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, that's right. Tell each other. It's very interesting. Shorthead Milker again, yeah. Milker loves stories about killing things. This time, it was the dragon Fassi. So good job, Minkat. You get some legendary rep, I guess. But maybe two, me too, because I was there. Who knows? Next up, let's tell a story about a site. Rampart bolts. Oh boy, Rampart bolt really gets down the rabbit hole here. Rampart bolt was a fortress. It was taken over by a dragon and then a cyclops. So we went there and killed the cyclops. I think we had a quest to do this. At Spring of 100. Unib killed it with Shellstrench's The Pillar of Appearing. It was the mid-spring of 100. We had a quest to go to Rampart Bolt and kill a Cyclops. Rampart Bolt was a fortress that had been destroyed. Cyclops had just taken up residence in it. So we went there, spotted some unusual things on the ground. Didn't see any Cyclops, so then we went inside and climbed down into the depths of the fortress, looking for this Cyclops. Eventually we found it hiding in a bedroom, actually, cowering perhaps. When the whole party went to town on it, in the end, Unib was the one that got the final hit in, with whatever the name of that artifact was, I forget. I think Unib's the one with the spear, so maybe that's the spear. We also have 2 maces and an axe. No, we lost the axe. He weaves a mesmerizing tale. I don't know if my tale's mesmerizing. What do you think? They all think it's interesting. I killed the Cyclops. Except for my companions, which I don't blame them. They've heard the story. Oh, this guy said, I find this somewhat admirable. Close set out his metal crafter. And this other one, too. Oh, no, that's the same guy. It's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, it is. Alright, we got... Tell a story about Rampart Bolt. This place has quite a few stories attached. So while we were there, after we killed the Cyclops, I guess before, technically, according to the game, we discovered the Blighted Fortress. Let's tell it. It was the mid-spring of 100. We had gone to kill a Cyclops when, out of the corner of his eye, Gostrim spotted this throne, the Blighted Fortress, laying on the ground outside the fortress. We went inside and killed the Cyclops first, priorities. But then he came outside and he picked up this chair, discovered it. It had been lost in the fight that had destroyed this fortress, which was actually with a dragon, who then just pissed off. And then the Cyclops came and took over the place like a chump. So we picked up the chair that had been long lost to time, wondering who the hell's chair even is this? So we looked in Legends mode to see whose chair was this thing even, and set about to return it to its rightful owner. You are telling the tale quite well. Vivid detail. Vivid detail. Vivid detail. Yeah, level 4, baby. You conclude your performance. What does the audience think? It's interesting. No, I'm not interested. Yeah, Minkat, shut up. It's very interesting. Yeah, the milker loves it. It's interesting. It's interesting. I find this somewhat admirable. Yeah, Metal Crafter again. See, Metal Crafter thinks Gostrim is the shiz. No, I'm not interested. Yeah, Dobar, you were there. I know. Thick Lips Mason. It's interesting. Alright. And then we'll tell a story, this time about a person. So finish the loop on this Blighted Fortress saga. Solon Tome's help. In the mid-spring of 100, the Blighted Fortress was offered to the dwarf Solon Tome's help. Let's tell it. It was the mid-spring of 100. Gostrim had found the place where the Blighted Fortress belonged. The fort of whatever the hell it was that this guy lived in. This guy was the Baron of the place. And this chair had been made a symbol of the Baron of that place. So Gostrim took the Blighted Fortress, the chair, and showed it to this guy, Tome's help, who said, hey, You should return that to its rightful owner, who is me, by the way, and put it back where it belongs, in a museum. And Gostrim said, sure, here, have this chair. And that's the story of the offering of the Blighted Fortresses to Rovad Tomeshelp in the mid-spring of 100 by Gostrim. You tell the story in vivid detail. People are telling jokes left and right in here. You're telling the tale quite well. You weave a mesmerizing tale. Nice. Tell the tale quite well. Let's see what the audience thinks. I'm not interested. Yeah, I know, Minkat. It's very interesting. Who said that? The Milker. Yeah, he always does. He thinks it's great. These stories. I'm gonna tell my grandkids. I met Gostrim Severemanors, the Spreadfold. He told the stories of all of his adventures. I think that was it for Rampart Bolts. Oh, no. We actually found an axe there that we also returned to... who? Lance guy? Lancerplank. Rovad Lancerplank. Larkhowl. I think Larkhowl actually belonged to somebody else, but this one, the Disembowelment of Kindnesses, definitely belonged to them. Late spring, Rovad Lancerplank. So it was the late spring of 100. Gostrim had a copper artifact axe that he no longer needed because it was a copper artifact axe, which wasn't really that good. So he, magically knowing who this axe belonged to, went to the place where it belonged, which I think was actually called Sword Violence. Just very memorable name, Sword Violence, the fortress. And he offered Larkhowl, or not Larkhowl yet, this other copper axe to Rovad Lanceplank, who was the Baron of this place. It was a proper recipient for it. He even showed it to him, and the Baron said, hey, that belongs in a museum. And Gostrim said, you know what, I agree, and gave it to him. And he also did the same with Larkhowl. Although Larkhowl didn't actually belong there, but it was better to be in the hands of dwarves than filthy humans, which is where it was. Maybe they'll start a dwarven war someday. You're telling the tale quite well. Quite well. Yes, quite well. Vivid detail. Conclude your performance. What do they think? It's interesting. No, I'm not interested. It's very interesting. Yeah. It's interesting. Everyone thinks it's interesting, other than my companions, who are just always down on everything. Like, God, I heard this story like 8,000 times, Gostrim. Do you have to tell it again? Yes, I have to tell it again, guys. I gotta get my reputation, okay? And also level up my skills. Alright, I think that's finally it for Rampart Bolt. Next up is Scarred Helps. What am I doing? Oh, I want to tell a story about a site. Scarred Helps. And this was, if you know your Legends mode, a vault. A demon vault. So we're going to tell them about the killing of a war ruination in the late spring of 100, which is a type of angel, I guess. It was the late spring of 100. The party was definitely all together, because we wouldn't have gone to a vault without them. We found this vault, guarded by angels, with a slab inside, with the name of a demon that you could then use to banish it. Spoiler alerts, by the way. So we fought our way through, and there was one really big monster in there called a war ruination. I bet you dwarves have never even heard of a war ruination, have you? Short Ears Milker, have you heard of a war ruination before? No, I didn't think so. Yeah, that's really interesting though, isn't it? This war ruination we killed with Gostrim's signature move. He ran up to it and chopped his head off in one hit. using honored shames, the sadness of subtlety. Wasn't really that much of a challenge, as it turned out, but it also hadn't gone hostile to us. So, cheats? I don't know, but it should have defended itself. You were telling the tale quite well. Vivid detail, yeah. Quite well. Man, it took a while. Conclude your performance. Alright, what do you think about the war ruination? I find this somewhat admirable. Metalcrafter again. It's interesting. No, I'm not interested. It's interesting. Where's the milker? Let's see if we can find the milker. It's interesting. Here he is. It's very interesting. He always thinks it's very interesting. Short-head milker, we're gonna have to talk to you later. Find out what your name is. It's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, it is. Alright, we got another story about that place, though. Scarred Helps, where Gostrim stole the demon slab after reading it. Just took it right with him. Late spring. It was the late spring of 100. Gostrim had just killed a giant guardian of the vaults, cutting his way through angels, getting gobs of god metal along the way to shove into a sack to be used in a future fortress. When he found a slab sitting in the very bottom depths of the vault, he read it, and it had the true name of a leader of a goblin civilization far, far to the east, but still within reach of Gostrim. Upon reading this slab, he resolved that it was his mission to find this demon and banish it from this world, using its true name, without having to fight it, because dang, those things are tough. And that is what he did with the strifeful spear in the mid-spring, or the late spring of the year 100, Gostrim Severemanors, the Spreadfold. Telling the story in vivid detail, yeah. Get my treasure hunting rep up. I don't know if you get it from finding things or from giving things. I think it's only giving things. Let's see what they say. It's interesting. No, I'm not interested. It's interesting. No, I'm not interested. Yeah, shut up, guys. I find this somewhat admirable. Yeah, Metalcrafter thinks Gostrim is a swell guy. Milker thinks it's very interesting, always. Nice. We could probably get free drinks by now. Do we have a tavern keeper? No tavern keeper. Well, drinks are free anyway. And Gostrim is thirsty, so let's take a drink real quick. Just pick up this whole barrel of dwarven rum. And just chug it. Chug, chug. Chug. Ah, yeah, dwarven rum. Put that back down. Anyway, where were we? Oh, guys, let me stand up. I'm trying to tell a story here. Alright, where were we? Telling stories about a site. So that was it for Scarred Helps. Next up is Sculpture Princes. Late spring of 100. Uzal Master Bristle, the torch of robustness. It was the late spring of 100. The party was definitely all together by now, when they came across the lair of a bronze colossus. We've been worried about bronze colossi, because they're really hard to kill. But Gostrim had dutifully collected a large number of iron whips that he and his followers all wielded as they went into battle. At least those of them that did not run away like cowardly cowards, looking at you, Zos. But those that remained whipped the hell out of this bronze colossus with their iron whips, which apparently is a good way to kill a bronze colossus because there's a small surface area. Something like that. But it did indeed work very well, and Gostrim got the last licking, literally, as he whipped the bronze colossus in the head with his iron whip, turning it into a statue. which we then threw on the horse and put into the nearest fortress on display in their throne room. Maybe we'll collect it later when we build a fortress and build it there. But for now, it is safe. You stumble over the details. No. Oh, I'm stunned. Why am I stunned? I stumbled over the details. Oh no. Why am I stunned? Don't be stunned. Oh yes, they all think it's interesting though. Anyway. Why am I stunned? Don't be stunned. Alright, successfully walked it off. Yes, that was how we killed the Bronze Colossus. Next up, let's tell a story about a site called Deviant Echo. The Howl of Fog. What do we do here? We killed an Etten. Fimshell embraced drive. Struck down by Gostrim. Early summer of 100. It was the early summer of 100. The party was definitely all together by now. Gostrim was wandering the wilds when he came across a fortress in need of help. He had talked to the captain of the guard, who gave him a quest to say, "Go kill this Etten that has been causing problems for us." Gostrim said readily, "I love chopping the heads off of things, and Ettens have too." So Gostrim set off with the party. They found the Etten's lair, and they ran inside. Now Gostrim knew he couldn't use his signature move on the Etten because there were two heads. So first he chopped it in the legs so that it fell down. And after it fell down, Unib took a mace and smashed its second head into the skull into the brain, leaving the Etten with just one head, which was Gostrim's perfect opportunity, where he chopped off its only remaining head in one strike, with honored shames, the sadness of subtlety. In Deviant Echo, the Howl of Fog, in the summer of 100. You're telling the tale quite well. Somebody's getting enraged in here. I hope we don't have a tavern brawl. Telling the tale quite well. What do y'all think of that? It's interesting. I find this somewhat admirable. Oh, the Thresher thinks it's admirable now. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, we were killing the Etten as part of a quest, so I guess admirableness does count. Alright, next up is a story about a site called Mob Hearts. It was a cave. Oh, another dragon. Yeah, early summer of 100. Akara Silver Fortunes. It was the early summer of 100. Gostrim was wandering the wilds on the way to the Goblin Fortress where he was going to banish something, when he came across a dragon cave, where it was common knowledge that a dragon lived. They went into the cave and didn't find the dragon. As it turned out, they had to go all the way down to the cavern lair and wander around the caverns for quite some time until they found the dragon. Gostrim charged at the dragon and it breathed fire at him. The fire cut off the whole passageway behind him, trapping Gostrim and the dragon together to have a one-on-one duel. The dragon was no match for Gostrim, though, who did not kill it with his signature move, but chopped its legs a few times so it fell down, and then chopped its head off after a few tries, with honored shames, the sadness of subtlety. Eventually, the other dwarves found their way around through the caves to him and rejoined. But Gostrim didn't even need their help to kill this dragon, Akara Silver Fortunes, in the early summer of 100. You were telling the tale quite well. Quite well. Quite well. Yeah, I think quite well is about the minimum roll for me now. See what the audience thinks. This one was a dragon. It's interesting. It's interesting. No, I'm not interested. It's interesting. It's interesting. No, I'm not interested. Alright. Well, we got more where that came from, alright? So after my parts, we tell a story about a sight. There's another sculpt. Brave sculpt. We killed a giant, murdering famous torches. Killed by Gostrim. It was the early summer of the year 100. Gostrim and his party were adventuring through the wilds when they came across the lair of a giant. Although this giant we may have gotten a quest to kill. They all kind of blur together. Either way, they found a giant. And, fearing for the safety of all nearby and dwarves all over the world, Gostrim ran up to it and killed it with his signature move, chopping its head off in one hit with honored shames, the sadness of subtlety. And so fell another dragon to Gostrim. It wasn't a dragon. Another giant to Gostrim. You are telling the tale quite well. Quite well. No mesmerizing tales, Gostrim? Getting tired out? Maybe he just hasn't told this one as much as the other ones. Yeah, quite well. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting. I find this somewhat admirable. Yeah, it must have been a quest then. People are finding it admirable. Yeah, some captain of the guard told me, hey, go kill this giant. I was like, hey, a giant? That's different from a cyclops, for once. I said, absolutely. Alright, next up. Saffron Calls. Tell a story about a sight. The Saffron of Calls. Where we killed a rock. And it was actually killed by Onol. It was the midsummer of the year 100. Gostrim's party was wandering the wilds. This time they got a quest to kill a rock. So they went off, left the captain of the guard that had given them the quest, and found the rock's lair. Now, rocks are pretty tough, so Gostrim tried to use his signature move on it, where he runs up and chops its head off in one hit with honored shames, the sadness of subtlety. But rocks are pretty tough, and you can't actually chop their head off in one hit, as it turns out. So he just chopped it a whole bunch, while the rest of the party also came up and chopped it a whole bunch. And the last person to get a lick in was Onol, with his silver warhammer, who struck it in the head, jamming the skull through the brain. And that is how we killed this rock as part of a quest in the midsummer of the year 100. You're telling the tale quite well. Quite well. Vivid detail. Vivid detail, yes. Maybe I've told this story before. Well, I definitely have, but maybe enough times to get skill. Vivid detail. What do you guys think? It's interesting. Yeah. I find this somewhat admirable. Yeah, that was a quest. Otherwise, they wouldn't have said it was admirable. And that's why I tell the story, even though Onol was the one that got the last lick. But, I don't want to hog all the glory. The dwarves that are here with us also deserve praise. Onol's still with us, right? Yeah, Onol's still with us. Alright, next up is a story about a site named Foggy Wanders. The Tales of Pride was a lair. And there was another rock. This time, Unib got in the last lick with Shells Drenches, the Pillar of Appearing. I'm not going to remember that one. Well, it was the midsummer of the year 100. Gostrim got a quest to kill a rock. Or maybe we were just wandering the wilds. They all kind of blur together, these rocks. Either way, we found a rock. And as usual, Gostrim ran up to it and tried to kill it with its signature move of chopping its head off in one hit with honored shames, the sadness of subtlety. But as I've mentioned before, rocks are tough, so they survive one hit with Honored Shames, the Sadness of Subtlety. So the whole party gets up there and gets all their licks in, just beating the crap out of the rock. And the last one to get a hit was Unib, with an artifact mace that we gave him. See, he's holding it right there. Just holding it up. Just that one. And he killed the rock by striking it in the head, jamming the skull through the brain with his artifact mace. In the midsummer of 100. Did not remember the name of the mace. Shells Drenched the Pillar of Appearing was the name of the mace. Let's see, how'd I do? Quite well. Vivid detail. Quite well. Quite well. Quite well. Conclude. What do you guys think? It's interesting. It's interesting. Somewhat admirable. Yeah, we did have a quest for that one. I guess. That's why we're telling it. Of course, I remember it clearly like it was yesterday. Though it's no longer the midsummer of the year 100. Alright. We're not nearly done yet. We're about halfway through. Next up, we've got a story about a site called the Esteemed Flute, where we killed an Etten. Once again, with Honored Shames, the Sadness of Subtlety. So this Etten most likely went exactly like the last Etten went, where we ran up, Gostrim chopped it in its legs so it fell down, somebody smashed it in the head with a hammer, destroying one head, and then Gostrim chopped off the remaining head, with Honored Shames, the Sadness of Subtlety. Pretty much how all Ettens go when they fight Gostrim. In the midsummer of 100. Telling the tale quite well. Quite well, yes. What's the audience think? Somewhat admirable. Must add a quest. Oh yeah, to kill an Etten. We usually won't stop for an Etten, so it makes sense that it was a quest. Who am I kidding? We would absolutely stop for a Etten. Alright, next up we have a story about a site, Stance Gleamed. What do we do here? Killed another bronze colossus, Letho Clobbertops. And this one was killed by Zas, who wasn't a coward this time, with the Cosmic Wood Scimitar. Oh, early summer. Out of order. Anyway. It was the early summer of 100. Gostrim's party was wandering the wilds on our way to the Goblin Fortress, where he had business with the Master. When we came across a shrine with a bronze colossus within. This time, only Gostrim took the iron whip, and everybody else kept their weapons, because we wanted to see how it went. And as they charged in, Zas was not a coward, and ran away, like he does with most monsters. He just got right in there. So as Gostrim whipped away, and everybody else slashed away with their artifact weapons, Zas was the one to get the last hit in on the bronze colossus, turning it into a statue, as he slashed it in the lower body with his Cosmic Wood Scimitar. Oh, that's lowercase c, lowercase w. I know you guys, it doesn't have a name, it's just Cosmic Wood Scimitar, okay? I didn't think it would be a very good sword, but apparently it's a very good sword. But you can see him holding it right there. There it is, Cosmic Wood Scimitar. And he used it to kill that bronze colossus in the early summer of 100. Good job, Zas. You've redeemed yourself, somewhat. Telling the tale quite well. Not interested. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I find this somewhat admirable. Maybe we had a quest. I don't remember. Sometimes we have quests for Bronze Colossi. Alright, Shell Blushed is the next. Oh boy, Shell Blushed. Lots went down in Shell Blushed. Shell Blushed was another vault where they stored Lustful Cave, a slab with the demon's true name. So, Gostrim found this place, obviously. Now, where is the killing? Yes. The Midsummer of 100 killed the Destroyer of the Hairy, Clodrun, which was an enormous serpent made up of vomit. Let's tell the story. It was the Midsummer of 100, and Gostrim had been searching in the mountains for what had been rumored to be some kind of vault. He'd already found one before, so he knew what was within, and knew it would be worth finding. It was a huge pain wandering through the mountains to find this place, but eventually he did. And he fought his way through vomit monsters, vomit angels, all the way to the bottom floor of the fortress, or of the vault, when we came across the Destroyer of the Hairy, a vomit snake with a shell that had a piercing gaze, pretty sure. This thing was badass. It did not just die in one hit. It messed the whole party up, at least those of us that didn't run like cowards, looking at you, Zas. The ones that stood and fight got really messed up, but thankfully everybody had healing potions and drank them in time, except for Id Bolted Crab, which we will tell you about soon. Telling the tale quite well, we destroyed Destroyer of the Hairy, Clodrun. What do you guys think of that? Have you ever heard of a Destroyer of the Hairy dwarves? Huh? Yeah, some of them think it's interesting. Find this somewhat admirable. Didn't have a quest for that was for sure. Well, I guess they just like killing mega beasts. Well, that fight came at a cost, unfortunately. So if we go back to Shell Blushed here. We also lost, right before that, yes, the mortal wounding of the dwarf Id Bolted Crab. Famous for killing the Hydra with Larkhowl, the copper axe. So we'll tell the story. It was the midsummer of the year 100. We were fighting the Destroyer of Hairy, Clodrun, in the depths of Shell Blushed. The 5 of us that actually stood to fight and didn't run away like cowards looking at you, Zas, all got really messed up by this stupid vomit serpent, and all had to drink their healing potions in order to stay alive, but unfortunately, Id was killed outright and wasn't able to drink his healing potion. So there he remains. Maybe one day a necromancer will go to that vault and bring Id back to us. But today is not that day. Id gets to lay as a testament to what it costs to get into that vault, get that demon slab, and all that god metal. But you know what? We got more god metal in weight than Id weighed. So I'm sure he would be happy. You're telling the tale quite well. We've been telling tales for 60 minutes. Cut some of that out, obviously. How is he telling it? You're telling the tale quite well. Quite well. You know what, we'll skip over telling about finding the demon slab, because I don't think they care about finding things. Alright, next up, the Hideous Rays. Tell a story about a site. The Hideous Rays, where we killed a swamp titan in the midsummer of 100. It was the midsummer of 100. Gostrim's party was wandering the wilds on the way to their goblin fortress, where they had business with the master, when they found a shrine with a jungle titan inside, or a swamp titan inside. So, Dealing with titans, as Gostrim always does with all titans, he ran up to it and killed it with his signature move. Cut off its head in one hit using honored shames, the sadness of subtlety. And it was a damn good thing too, because this one had webs. It actually shot webs at Gostrim. He chopped its head off just in time, because the tick after he got webbed and fell over. So if he hadn't cut off its head as quickly as he did, he would have been dead. Man, webs are bad. And that's how Gostrim killed the Swamp Titan with honored shames, the sadness of subtlety, in the midsummer of 100. Let's see how he did. Quite well. Quite well. What does the audience think? I'm not interested. Yeah, I know, Ono. It's interesting, yeah. Admirable. It's thin peasants. See, thin peasants getting in on it, too. I don't think Gostrim is so admirable for killing all these monsters. And we're not nearly done yet. Let's keep going. To Tundra Island. What we do? Kill the rock. Zos killed it with the Cosmic Wood Scimitar. This went exactly the same as all the other rocks in the midsummer of 100. You tell the story in vivid detail. Nice. It was just a rock, but what are you gonna do? Definitely had a quest, or I wouldn't have put this one in the rotation. Tell it in vivid detail. What does the audience think? It's interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting. Yes. No, I'm not interested. I find this somewhat admirable. It's interesting. I find this somewhat admirable. Nice. Getting all kinds of rep. This time, Zos didn't run away. Job, Zos. Wish I could rely on you every fight. Not nearly done yet. What's up? Spray clouds. The site, spray clouds of the basin of Sax. What did we do here? We killed the Plains Titan. Struck down by Gostrim. It was the midsummer of the year 100. Gostrim's party was wandering the wilds, on their way to the Goblin Fortress where they had business with the Master, when they came across a Plains Titan lair. Fearing for the safety of everyone around and dwarves everywhere throughout the world, Gostrim decided to kill the Plains Titan. So, him and his fellow dwarves ran in there, and he killed the Plains Titan with his signature move, chopped its head off in one hit using honored shames, the sadness of subtlety. And that is how Gostrim killed the Plains Titan in the midsummer of 100. You tell the story in vivid detail. Oh, now they're on to complimenting each other instead of telling jokes. These guys, they love practicing their skills. Good for them. Telling the tale quite well. Good thing there's no goblins here. All these compliments will make them fight. You weave a mesmerizing tale. Yeah, good job, Gostrim. What does the audience think? I'm not interested. It's interesting. It's interesting. I'm not interested. I'm not interested. It's interesting. I find this somewhat admirable. Nice. Getting the reps. I find this somewhat admirable. It's interesting. Very good. Alright, next up, let's tell a story about a site called Tribe Waters? That's what we just did, right? Look here. Plains Titan. Spray Clouds. This last one we did. Alright. Hell story. Last site. Tribe Waters. Where we killed a Mountain Titan. Well, you can probably guess how this one's gonna go. It was the midsummer of the year 100. Gostrim's party was wandering the wilds, trying to get to their destination, when they found the lair of a mountain titan. Needing to rid the world of such a hazardous beast, Gostrim's party charged in there, and Gostrim killed the mountain titan using his signature move, chopping its head off in one hit using honored shames, the sadness of subtlety. And that's how he killed the Plains Titan in the midsummer of the year 100. Chalk another one up for Gostrim. Tell the tale quite well. Quite well. Quite well. Quite well. Vivid detail. Quite well. Quite well. Vivid detail. Very good. What does the audience think? I'm not interested. It's interesting. It's admirable. It's interesting. Not interested. It's interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, that's right. Killing another Titan. You guys love hearing about killing Titans, right? Alright, next up we have Jungle Saffron. What do we kill here? Oh, the Desert Titan. Yeah, Gostrim. Spreadfold. Oh, it was the late summer of the year 100. We were wandering the wilds on our way to our second destination. We'd actually gotten to our first destination at this point, when we found the lair of a Plains Titan. Deciding to do what we do to all Titans, the party charged in there, but this Plains Titan was different from some of the others. This Plains Titan was, or Desert Titan, was made of fire. Oh no. And Gostrim said to himself, as he charged in there, well, if I survive being lit on fire, we'll probably win. And he was right. The Fire Titan threw fireballs at the whole party. Most of them blocked it. A couple of them didn't, including Gostrim. And they got lit on fire. Gostrim managed to get up while on fire somehow, run over to the Titan, and cut its head off in one hit using honored shames, the sadness of subtlety, because the thing was made out of fire and was not very sturdy, as it turned out. And then the party desperately tried to put themselves out from being on fire and drink heal potions to heal all the burns. You're telling the tale quite well. Vivid detail. Yeah, fire titans are no joke. Vivid detail. Quite well. Conclude your performance. Well, at this point, we should probably tell the story about what we did with one of those slabs. So after a long journey across the world, Gostrim finally found the Dark Tower. Or is it the Vanishment? Finally found the Dark Tower inhabited by the owner of the slab that he had found earlier. So we'll tell the story. In the late summer of the year 100, Gostrim finally found Match Spiders, the Dark Fortress. As he approached, he found that there was a goblin insurrection going on. The goblins were all killing each other. It was great. Thankfully, Gostrim was not part of a civilization that was at war with them, so all of the goblins were friendly. They let Gostrim walk all the way up to the throne room, where the master was sitting, where Gostrim then used the true name of the master to dispel him back to where he came from, where the master then just disintegrated, poof, into thin air. Well, actually pretty thick air, because disintegration in this game makes a whole crapload of smoke. Unfortunately, doesn't give Gostrim credit for it, but it was him. He did it. The indigo monster did not just disappear. It was Gostrim. And then after he left, the goblin insurrection got put down, apparently, according to the story menu. You tell the story in vivid detail. But yeah, I wanted to kill that goblin leader so that I could have a fortress and take over all the goblin lands. It's really hard to do when those guys are still alive. I'm going to do it to a second one. When we stopped to tell our tales at a new dwarf tavern. They all think it's interesting. Alright, we're not done yet. What other crafted skills? Looks like it was a fortress. Oh, with a dragon in it. That's right. Yeah, we did that. Midsummer of 100. So, it was the midsummer of 100. Gostrim was wandering the wilds on the way to his second destination when he came across a fortress with a captain of the guard who was in need. He said, "Hey, there's a fortress north of us that's been taken over by a dragon. Could you go sort that out?" Legendary hero. To which Gostrim said, "Absolutely, I can take care of that, no problem." So Gostrim went to the fortress. The party climbed down into the depths of the fortress, searching carefully for the dragon, until they found it tucked away in the corner somewhere, next to one of the forges. And Gostrim killed the dragon using his signature move. He ran up to it and chopped its head off in one hit, using honor shames, the sadness of subtlety. Must have been a pretty lucky hit. Dragons are tough. It also breathed fire at him, but he blocked it with his steel shield. And that's how we slew the dragon in the midsummer of 100. It's just south of here, guys. You probably know the place. You can go resettle it now. Stumble over the details. Oh, no. Telling the tale quite well. Thank God. Oh, wow. Stumble over the details. This is a newer story, so they probably... he probably doesn't have skill with it. But yeah, let me show you on the map. That was right here. The dragon Bestra Jade flickered. And now we're here telling them all of our stories. Which we're not done with yet. What else we got? Onslaught Shocked? That should be the last site. We got a couple others. Onslaught Shocks. Ah, yes, another Bronze Colossus. Midsummer 100. Oh, it was the Midsummer of 100. Just a few days ago, in fact. When the captain of the guard of your fortress right here told me, "Hey, could you go kill this Bronze Colossus that's giving us some problems?" To which I said, "Absolutely, I'll go kill that Bronze Colossus." So Gostrim set off and found the lair of the Bronze Colossus. This time there were no whips involved. After learning about the Cosmic Wood Scimitar, figured artifact weapons probably better than iron whips. So the whole party charged in there, and sure enough, their artifact weapons really did a number on the Bronze Colossus. Everybody's banging it, denting it, fracturing it, hitting them with their cool-ass weapons. Until finally, Gostrim hit it in the lower body, chipping it partially away from the rest of the body, making the Bronze Colossus turn into a statue. Which we then brought back here to the throne room and stored in one of the pedestals. So if you guys want to go see the Bronze Colossus, go downstairs and go take a look. I'm telling the tale quite well. In vivid detail. In vivid detail. Yeah, they hadn't heard about the Bronze Colossus yet. Well, the captain did, but these guys hadn't. Alright, couple more. We've got, yes, the bandit story. A tragic tale to end our stories. So we got Malign Biles. Or Malign Biles was a camp. We killed a whole bunch of goblins there. We'll tell the story of the Gorlock, as we tell the story of the Gorlock. There was a goblin camp in the wilds that Gostrim's party came across while traveling, and they decided to stop and try to loot it. When they got there, they saw that there must have been at least 100 goblins surrounding that treasure pile. But they had no fear. They charged straight in there, cutting their way through goblin after goblin. Gostrim killing their leader, who was actually a Gorlock, along the way, until one of our number fell, Solon. That was the signal for everyone to converge on the treasure pile, which they did. The goblins, shocked by our fearsome attack, did not try to interfere as the party stuffed all of their backpacks full of all the gold, silver, and copper that they had in their treasure pile, and then backed away slowly back the way they had came. And that is how we killed the Gorlock leader and a whole bunch of goblins in malign vials in the late spring of the year 100, and got 600 pounds worth of coins along the way. You tell the story in vivid detail. You're telling it quite well. Now, unfortunately, this story has a tragic end, for greed has its price. What does the audience think first? Yes, they think it's interesting. Well, just wait till you hear the ending. Alright, let's tell it. Malign bios. After we had left, the goblins that were left alive impaled Solon's body on a papaya wood spear. Like the barbarians that they are. They thought it would be a warning for future dwarves, but was it really a warning when there were 20 to 30 goblins laying on the field directly below him and the Gorlock, with their treasure pile entirely empty? It was a real shame that Solon got impaled on a papaya wood spear after we were gone, but we just didn't have room to take him. We had to carry all the 600 pounds of gold instead. But I'm sure he would have understood and approved and said, yes, take the gold. Leave me to be impaled on a papaya wood spear. It's worth it. You're telling the tale quite well. I think that is the last one. Just check. Oh yeah, it's the last one. I find this somewhat admirable. You find it admirable that they impaled the dwarf Solon on a papaya wood spear? That's just wrong, man. That's just wrong. Alright, how much XP did we get? It took 81 minutes to tell all those stories. And we are at 700 out of 900 in level 4, so actually pretty close to level 5 in speaking. Alright, well, that's enough stories for now. We'll call it here, and maybe we'll continue some of Gostrim's stories another time. Peace.